Oh. Oh.
I'm talking about my life. I can't seem to get that through to you.
Blah, 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 blah.
I'm not just talking about one person. I'm talking about everybody.
You know you're dying. We're all dying. I'm tired of a lot of baloney.
I'm talking about form. I'm talking about content. I'm talking about interrelationships. I'm talking about God, the devil, hell, heaven. Do you understand? Finally!
Star Trek Voyager. Yes, I'm going to talk about Star Trek Voyager. Why the hell am I talking about a show that, went off the air a billion years ago? Because I'm still pissed off about it. So, normal people are. Anyway, before I get into that, I want to let you all know my hiatus is almost over. Maybe a couple more weeks, and I swear I'll go back to doing a weekly episode or something for the 100 some odd people that still watch, but I appreciate all you guys. So anyway, now that I said that, Star Trek Voyager, for those that don't know what Star Trek Voyager is, was a Star Trek show from the 90s that starred Captain Butch, Harry Kim, and Tuvix, and they go on to Starship Voyager and they have a long deep space mission they're supposed to do, but what incidentally happens is that they get accidentally or deliberately, hard to say, sucked into the Delta Quadrant, which is the other side of the galaxy. And at the very first episode, pretty much, they find out that there's aliens sucking all these species to their part of the galaxy for analysis and testing or something. So they're like, do we destroy this alien so this happens to no one ever again? Or do we just use the alien's power to get back home and forget it? So anyway, they end up destroying the alien, and they themselves can't get back home except to fly home manually, which will take like 70 years or something. And I'm like, okay, well, good idea for show, and it was a good show. Good show. It was on 7 years. 7 seasons. You want to know how it ended? First, tell me what you can't tell me. I can't think. Let me tell you something here. The whole premise of the show is for them to get home. You're waiting 7 years for them to find a way home, so you can, see what happens when they get there, right? It's 7 years. And it builds up to it, obviously, all the way through the show, and at the very end, well, they get home. So you think, well, what happens next? They get home. The end. No, you're thinking, well, that's the whole point. They got home, the end. So what? You don't get it. Like, the very second they get home, it shows them fly towards Earth, the end. No aftermath, no explanation, no, epilogue? No, nothing. Just the home, the end. I didn't spend 7 years just to see you end it abruptly. I want to see the aftermath. I want to see what kind of lives they lived. I want to see how everything ended up. You're gonna jip me with the worst possible ending known to mankind by just abruptly ending it when they get back to Earth? 7 years? This is the thanks we get? We paid attention to your show. We loved your show, and you gotta just, the end, nothing. You get nothing.
You lose! Good day, sir!
Some people would say, okay, if you watch the very last episode, they'd be like, well, you did see the ending. You saw what happened afterwards, because at the beginning of the last episode, it shows Butch and all of them as old people, old retired, or some of them are retired Starfleet people, and they're like, yeah, but that was an alternate alternate timeline ending. That doesn't count anymore, because they changed time. So the ending you see at the very end of the episode is a different ending you're going to see at the very beginning, if that makes any sense. So it doesn't count. The ending you saw at the beginning of the show is not the same ending at the end of the show. So therefore, I want to see now what happens in the new ending, the timeline they changed it to. I want to see a proper ending. And I'm like, I can't believe, how could they do this? How could they just jip their whole not clientele, but viewers? I was so mad. I remember watching this today. I'm like, oh, they got home, yay! Credits are rolling. No big special goodbye or special ending. It was just like it ended like a regular episode. But this is the final episode of your series. It should be huge, tremendous goodbye. Nothing. Roll the credits. Dun, 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 dun. No. Okay, there's got to be one more episode to finish this all up. A big goodbye, make you feel sad. Like at least in Deep Space Nine, they had somewhat of a sad ending, like a way to say goodbye. Next Generation, yeah, they did, sort of. I mean, the thing I liked the best about Next Generation was that it just kind of ended on a high note that they're all still alive, they're all still doing what they're doing, nothing's changing. The end. Of course, I still didn't like the ending too much because I just didn't want the series to end. It's like that with any show. You don't want the show to end most of the times. So when it does, you're kind of like, don't like the ending no matter what. And that's not the case for Voyager. They didn't give me an ending. They just gypped me completely and said, oh, you get nothing.
Nothing!
They're home, bye. Like, seriously? This is how you're going to end your series? And that was the last Star Trek show. No, Enterprise came after that. I never really watched Enterprise, though. Not to say it was bad, I just didn't get into it. The whole... You know what threw me off from the new Enterprise, or the newer Enterprise Star Trek show? The last Star Trek show ever? Was the friggin' introduction song. It sounded like friggin' Rod Stewart was singing it. I'm like, I don't like it already. That's how low I am. The intro song to Enterprise sounded like friggin' Rod Stewart. I'm like, I want my Star Trek music. I want my typical Star Trek theme, that hick song or whatever it was. I don't want Rod Stewart singing this. I know it wasn't him, but it sounds like it. I'm like, no, I don't want to watch it now. I did try watching it anyway. It was just, I don't want to go back in time now. I want to stay with the timeline I was watching. I want to see something ahead of Voyager, that timeline. Let's start from the very beginning with old technology and we're meeting every new races for the first. That's boring. I don't want to see this start. I want to start over. So if you play a video game for the very first time, it's still fun. But some games are like more fun the further you get into it. Now let's start over and do it all over again. No, I don't care now. I'm not watching it. And it was all about sex and stuff too, which got stupid, you know. It's like, hey, don't get me wrong, I don't mind seeing half-naked women and stuff, but it's just for Star Trek. It just ruined the theme. The whole thing was ruined for me. I'm like, I guess I'm too old-fashioned. I don't know. And I'm trailing off course now. I was talking with Voyager. My cat's licking his butt. But yeah, I guess that's all to say. It just abruptly ended the show. 7 years. Dedication to get nothing.
Nothing!
No proper ending, no proper farewell. I could give you a whole whack of different games in series that, you know, did the same thing. A terrible ending. Anyone play the Breath of Fire series? Anyone? Breath of Fire games? I'm going to talk about one in particular. Because I love that series. Like for the SNES. Yeah, I think it started with SNES. 1 and 2. And then part 3 came up for PlayStation. I was like, oh, I'm going to get this game. And I was loving it all the way through. I love the story and everything. And when you beat the game, what do you get?
Nothing!
Nothing. This is my ending. And I'll tell you what happened at the end of Breath of Fire 3. Because you're not missing anything. You beat the last guy, the whole base blows up. Like traditional endings to games. You escape the explosion. And then it shows... Oh, Resident Evil is on my monitor. It shows you coming out of the rubble. Walking with Nina, I don't know if she's supposed to be your girlfriend or not, it never really elaborates on that. It's the thing that bothers me about the series. And you're walking with her, you walk to a cliff face, and you stare into the sky, the end. That's it? You just, that's how you, show me what happens afterwards. To me it's just common sense. I want to see what happened to them afterwards. What kind of lives did they live afterwards? What did they do? I guess Nina became a queen, and Ryu probably ended up marrying her, or he became Super Dragon Lord, man. Something. I get nothing.
Nothing!
Just walk to a cliff and look into the sky. Does anyone ever picture that for an ending? It must be worse than an NES ending, saying, congratulations. Because that's pretty much what I got. Like, yeah, who cares, this ended. I mean, the walking scene animation was pretty detailed. Thanks. But how about an appropriate ending? Oh, God. Starting to sweat. Final Fantasy VII was on... Okay, no. Before people start freaking out, Final Fantasy VII was one of my favorite all-time Final Fantasy games ever. It still is. But the ending still sucked ass. I try not to curse so much anymore. it sucked. It's like, okay, here comes a meteor. It's coming. It's going to crash. Oh, are they going to stop it? Oh, here comes a life stream and life force from the planet to stop it. 500 years later. I don't care what happened 500 years later. What happened the next day? What kind of lives did they live? Blah, blah, blah. To me, this is all common sense type of ending. 500 years later? Are you frigging kidding me? This is what I get? Who cares what happens 500 years later?
You're a crook.
Oh, okay, yeah. Let's see. What's the name of the main season? Midgard. Not Midgard. I'm thinking of Valkyrie Profile.
You're a cheat and a swindler.
Cities. But the main city, okay, you see it in ruins. You see Red 13 and his kids, I guess, going, ah, yelling at it. The end. I don't care. I want to know what happened the next day. Thank God they released the Final Fantasy VII movie to then explain to you pretty much what happened afterward. That redeemed it, even though I'm not sure that was what they were trying to do. Still, the movie itself could have been a little bit better too. But I still love the movie too. I mean, everything. Okay, the movie made up for the ending of the game, so I guess I can't complain too much anymore. But still, had they not made a movie, because what are the chances? They didn't make any Final Fantasy movies based on the actual one of the games they made previously before, so you can't expect them to actually release a movie for it. But thank God they did. Yeah, and that kind of made up for it. Still, it was bad. The game was a bad ending. But a good ending to a game, I can tell you, Valkyria Chronicles, which I still have to review sometime. Valkyria Chronicles had the perfect ending. Perfect. Everything was done perfectly. Had a mix of everything. You know, laughter, happiness, sadness, anger, and the ending was exactly what you wanted. It just summed up everything. It's like, especially with the main characters. They get together, they have a family, they live happily ever after the end. I'm not saying I expect every ending to be happily ever after or something. I just want an explanation of what happens afterwards. Something. You know, give me an idea. I guess that they do give you an idea, but I don't know. For RPGs especially, I expect a big ending. You give me a big story, why not a big ending to go with it? Okay, Valkyria Chronicles, I totally forgot. I get so enraged in my rant, I forget what game I'm talking about. So yeah, that had the perfect ending. It had everything you could ever want for an ending. And a story. The game itself was amazing to play, and it ended perfectly. So why can other games take reference from that one? You know. The only thing is the sequels for the game apparently didn't come out in North America. Part 2 did, but Part 3 will not. So I guess not enough people bought the game. Well, I'm like, well, I would have bought the game if I could afford the damn system you put it on. Now they put it on PC. It's the only reason I could play it. I'm hoping they release Part 2 and 3 here as well. Anyway, besides the point, Final Fantasy IV, or Final Fantasy II in the US. Final Fantasy IV had a good ending too, I thought. You know, for an SNES game. It, you know, gives you an idea what happened afterward. It shows what kind of lives they ended up living and things that happened, and the end. I love that ending. It made me feel satisfied at the time. Final Fantasy VI, I'm trying to think, did that have a good ending or not? See, I love that game for the most part, but the ending, for some reason, I don't remember it that much. I remember playing the game to death itself, but not the ending so much. You know, beating that game was easy, so as long as you leveled up a lot and got all the right weapons and everything.
How can you do a thing like this?
I don't remember much about the Final Fantasy VI ending.
Build up a little boy's hopes and then smash all his dreams to pieces.
I guess it was okay. But I think I got the point across. You want to make a good ending? To me, it's all straightforward. Just have an ending where, you know, it shows what happens to the characters in the end, and what kind of lives they live afterwards, what happens in the end. Sum it up. Just give me a big summary of what happens. You don't just abruptly end it, or have them look into the sky and say the end. I mean, okay, I get it. They beat the last guy. Maybe no one really cares for a proper ending, but for RPGs where the whole game is story-based, you really should care more about how your games end. Same with the TV show that runs for like 1 billion years. How can you just abruptly end it? Like, unless there is nothing to end it with, like say the world ends, okay, well I get it, everyone's dead, but for a show like Voyager, there's so much to say after they get home, like a debriefing, you know, does Janeway remain on the Enterprise, become a captain or an admiral? You know, does Harry Kim ever eventually find a chick and for once a poor friggin' sad sack of a guy who's ensign for the rest of his damn life? Tuvix, oh not Tuvix, he's friggin', I'm glad he died in that show. When you ever seen the episode with Tuvix when he died, you're like, or they're gonna separate Tuvok and Helix apart. You're supposed to feel sad, like they're killing Tuvix, and you're like, kill him, please. He's a worthless character ever. Worst idea for a character. Like, thank God they killed him. Tuvix.
Doesn't anyone see that this is wrong?
Anyway, what was I saying? So yeah, I'm done ranting for now. There's one more thing I'm gonna reference to an ending of anything. To give you an idea of what ending I preferred over Voyager's ending, and this isn't saying much, watch the movie Dark Star. It's a really old movie from the 70s. It's really odd. For some reason I felt sick watching it. I don't know why. Odd movie. Pretty depressing. The ending itself, I'll show you the ending. To me, this ending far outweighs Voyager's ending by a million.
Benson, Arizona, the warm wind through your hair. My body flies the galaxies, my heart longs to be there. Benson, Arizona, the same stars in the sky, but they seem so much kinder when we watch them, you and I.
You lose! Good day, sir!